And thank you to all of our speakers today. And we said right from the outset, we really wanted to hear from you. And in last year's AGM, one of the key points that you fed back to us, which we want to respond to here, is the opportunity to ask questions of our panel and our speakers today. So we'll be monitoring busy chat. So thank you all for your thoughts and your inputs, really helpful. And we'll try and pick out a few common themes and also look to answer on the website if we're not able to answer everything today. So my team have been busily picking out key themes and have also picked up and responded where we can. So can I firstly ask David, one of the key points that have been mentioned today, and indeed, digital infrastructure has been brought to light right to the forefront in today's a really good example of why digital infrastructure is really important. So David, can I turn to you to highlight what more we could do in terms of making sure that we support and expand a digital economy for D2N2? David Williams?
Yeah, thank you, Sajida. I think just before I go into digital specifically, I think we need to talk about the fact that we're a very disparate region, cities, towns, rural areas, and we need to pull everybody in together. So what we've been trying very hard to do is bring a focus to where we can bring the investment to best affect the region. There are two areas we know are very clearly important, which are transport connections and digital connections. So specifically in respect of digital connections, if COVID has taught us one thing, I think somebody said it on the chat, that we can operate in a different way, but we can only operate in a different way if we have the connectivity to do so, the digital connectivity to do so. So there are investments already made in digital connectivity across the region. There's certainly been a very strong 5G investment with Nottingham Trent. And I think we need to continue that theme of both investing in the digital infrastructure, but also specifically investing in the skills to enable people to develop that infrastructure and use that infrastructure. And developing those skills is as important as creating the physical infrastructure, I think.
Thank you, David. And I think that's a really good segue into, when we talk about skills, we talk about people. And as many people have said today, it's the people that will make our region. It will be supporting our people to access jobs through skills. So can I turn here to Shara to highlight where you think the specific skills opportunities are over the coming months and the priorities to support people to access jobs?
Thanks, Sajida. I think a lot of this has already been said. The digital skills are absolutely key. And I think that's digital skills at all levels. And I think if you look at some of our regional firms like Experian, Boots, Rolls-Royce, there is going to be a real competition for talent in, for example, artificial intelligence and data science, apart from everything else that's already been mentioned. And I do think we have a real opportunity here to work together across the education sector, FE and HE, to look at where we can best provide the support that people need to develop those skills. This has been a common theme in this meeting today, and it's been really interesting to hear this coming from many different perspectives and from all of our speakers, one way or the other.
Thank you, Shara. And another question I've seen in the chat, and this is where perhaps I'd like to bring Elizabeth in, is how do we promote our region for inward investment? And particularly, perhaps if you could highlight here, Elizabeth, how our ambitions for Freeport can help the region in positioning itself to attract investment.
Thanks, Sajida. Again, I think today is part of that, actually, which is showcasing a lot of what is actually going on within the region and bringing it to life for people. So I thank all the partners, Tim from Toyota, Councillor Robinson, John from Maritime, and David. They in sharing their ambitions and their work that's going on within their individual institutions or businesses demonstrate that. So I think we in the East Midlands, particularly in D2N2, local authorities and businesses, small businesses and large businesses, and our further education and higher education institutes really need to come together and get that message out consistently and strongly that actually there's a lot happening in the region. There's massive opportunity to take the government's agenda and bring it to life through this region, which we've just talked about, which is whether that's the carbon agenda, which is a must for us, through the 10-point plan, whether that's building cities which are powered by the energy of the future, whether that's the development of innovation in technologies and working with our universities and further education to do that. And as Shira and others know, I'm really keen to get this continuum from school through to whichever pathway people want to take to get to the level of education that they want to achieve for themselves personally. And I want us to think about skills not being skills to do jobs, but skills being life skills, skills being the opportunity to go into whatever kind of work one wants to, but actually about growing the person and growing that ability to go into any role that becomes available to them. We've got the education establishments in this region. We now, if we work together and create those pathways, I think we can make a huge difference to this place. And I think that's what the government is looking for us to do. And then specific to the Freeport, I just see that as a catalyst. When you see what is going on in that region already from the what Maritime and John have shared with us today, and what you see is the opportunity to take a coal-fired power station and other parts of the region that are connected into it. That can be a catalyst for significant inward investment that demonstrates how local authorities, the LEPs, businesses, local MPs, our educational institutes, because our universities and others are involved in helping us put together what they can bring to a Freeport development in this region. And I think it's about, again, showing to government, showing to the outward investors that we in the East Midlands and Derbyshire and Nottinghamshire are open for investment, and that we can turn your investment into a good return, as John has demonstrated through his own business and Toyota have demonstrated, because we've got the people, we've got the willingness, we've got the assets, we've got the educational institutions, we've got the businesses. And the Freeport is just a catalyst to then bringing further inward investment. It puts us on the map to say we're ready and we're willing and we're able to deliver big inward investment projects in this region.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And a theme today has also been about our low carbon beyond zero ambition. And given as a region, we are predominantly made up of small and medium-sized enterprises. The key challenge is how we take our small businesses on that journey. So Viv, can I turn to you to see what more we can be doing to support smaller businesses to adopt some of the innovation and technologies to support the vision for low carbon?
I totally agree that there's a fantastic opportunity for the smaller businesses to adopt a low carbon. Low carbon is not a single journey. It's a journey of productivity. It's a journey of many things that actually help business to be more profitable. And I think we've got the fantastic vehicle in the D2N2 with the Growth Hub. The Growth Hub's there to provide key skills and expertise to signpost resources and initiatives that are there for the SMEs. And really, it's there also for people to shamelessly steal. That's how lots of businesses grow and how we do it. And I think also it gives them expertise that allows them to learn in a safe way as well. Because I think a lot of it is that we are going into new territory, and we may not get it right first time. And I think the more that you can have that support, the Growth Hub is fantastic support to allow people to learn safely, to grow and develop. And it's a fantastic asset to take us on the green growth journey.
So thank you, Viv. There's a question in the chat, which actually I may just stick and come back to you. We've just talked about the Growth Hub, and there's a comment around the immediate impact and the disruption from COVID. Can you talk a little bit about how we want to support our region and our businesses, and particularly through the Growth Hub, to navigate the immediate impact?
Yeah, no, we've noticed, as soon as the shutdown happened, the vast increase of calls for help from all sorts of businesses to the Growth Hub. And really what we're trying to do is we're trying to develop the Growth Hub as a one-stop shop. So, you know, rather than people sort of panicking and looking around where they can get help, they know that it's a number where they can actually get, you know, knowledge, skills, expertise, and allow them to, first of all, you know, reflect on the position they are in and what opportunities there are in there to going forwards.
Thank you, Viv. And David, if I can turn to you for a question here. How do we make sure that our ambitious plans and support spreads to all parts of the region, you know, smaller districts, smaller rural areas, to the north, as per the chat, to make sure that our growth is inclusive for the whole region? Reflections from you, David?
First reflection is there's no denying it's a challenge because it's such a large region, such a large patch, so geographically disparate. Second point to make is we acknowledge that challenge and we're very conscious of that challenge, and there's no fundamental wish on our part to disadvantage or advantage any one part over the other. All of our thinking around things that happen in the south or the north is that it's for the overall benefit of the region. We've got to focus on additionality. So what's good for one part of the region should be good for other parts of the region. But that also goes back to the previous question about connectivity. That only really works if connectivity is as good as it should be, both physical transport and digital. So we are absolutely obsessed with inclusive growth across the region, but acknowledge that it's difficult to spread what is a limited pot thinly without it losing effect.
And can I come in a bit on that, actually, because I would hate to think that the north without the one, because I don't know if we've got colleagues from Chesterfield there, but we've been working a significant investment into the Chesterfield. They're doing a brilliant job around the development around the train station to get that connectivity. So actually connectivity across the region and Chesterfield have been, and we've been supporting and working with them. We've heard about Buxton. We've supported Chesterfield College, we've supported West North College, and we are looking to make sure we've got that connectivity around the region. So I would not want to think that we haven't been. Is there more we can do? Absolutely. And Sajid and I had a meeting just last week with Chesterfield and with the National Park Development up there as well, looking at how we can work with them to build out into and develop the national park area as well. So yes, some of the big investments may well be where the highest conurbations are, but we are very mindful, as David has said, and I think there are good examples of where we have worked collaboratively and collectively with our colleagues across the region.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And there's just a final point, and I can perhaps come to Shira, and we have previously talked about how we bring employers and skills providers closer together and the region's business needs. Would you like to reflect here before I pass back to Elizabeth to close?
Sure. I mean, I think that's obviously the challenge that we've got to address. And I think there are a lot of us, whether it's employers, FE or HE, that are working on these agendas in parallel. And I do think we have an opportunity now to work together better than we have done before. And as long as there's a will there, I think we can find ways of joining up. So that would be my ambition for this next period.
Thank you, Shira, and thank you all of our panel members and all of our speakers, and for all of your questions. That's been a really helpful discussion. I hope you found that helpful. We will look to pick up any questions that we haven't already and post responses on our website. So thank you all, and I hand back now to Elizabeth.